Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Grand Final, the actual Grand Final. This entire thing's been a Grand Final, but this is the actual Grand Final, best of 7, to determine who walks away with a lion's share of one hell of a prize pool. Oh my. Apollo, you ready for this one?
Yeah, I'm ready, and so are the admins and players, by the way, because the game is loading, and we're ready to get this underway. Of course, MMA came through 3-1 in his group stages, and then he went through the likes, of course, of Puma into Alive, and then is now sitting here in the finals. Symbol scraped through his group stages, but had a crazy quarterfinals. 3-0 Marine King Prime, 3-1 IronSquid, and he is now here ready to take the finals, and boy are we ready. It's
astonishing, isn't it? It really is. We'll talk a little bit more about the history of both of these players in this tournament once we've introduced them. Ladies and gentlemen, Slayers MMA in the red trunks playing Terran to the west of Belshire Beach Winter versus his opponent TSL Symbol in the blue playing Zerg to the east.
Both of these guys currently residing within Code A, round 32 in the GSL. But the thing is though that MMA is a Code S champion, and TSL Symbol has been a guy that struggled to qualify for Code A. The first time he did, he immediately got beaten down by MVP Genius. And he recently qualified again. And he actually managed to survive round 1 of Code A, guaranteeing that he will stay in Code A. Is now currently in the round of 32, as we said, and is looking to kind of advance through Code A. But this is the true test. He's gone through Marine King Prime. He's gone through Nesty. Now can he beat the heir to the throne? That's the true test in this epic best of 7 series.
He's beaten down 2 GSL Code S champions to get this far. He's certainly not going to let this one go without a fight. Now, MMA's work through his group was an interesting one because his real Zerg challenge in that group was Stefano, who actually forfeited against him.
Yeah, he did, and yeah, he hasn't really had to play up against too many high-level Zerg players in this tournament, but now we are going to see him play. And he actually started up with a Refinery first hit and a Barracks proxied on his natural. He will be going for a really fast Reactor Hellion opening here, but it will be on the natural and it will be closer towards his opponent. I think that's a great decision considering the distances between natural to natural of both these players. It is relatively short, and also the lack of a ramp on this map is going to make defending against Hellions pretty damn hard here. And especially if he stays off gas for a long time, he's only going to have the very basics, Queen, and slow links to defend against it. So Symbol, I wonder how long he'll delay from taking that gas.
I'm curious, really curious. Symbol has held ridiculous attacks on this before, but 3 to 5 to actually help against this very kind of attack.
Absolutely. I wonder, well, I haven't played with it, I haven't even thought about it that much, but one thing I have thought about is the overlord positioning for Symbol on the left-hand side. He's seen gas first. He knows that this is coming. He immediately throws down a Spine Crawler, and just seeing 200 gas missing before the 4-minute mark is a clear indication that this is going to be that style of play, that fast Reactor Hellions. And there they are coming. There is even a tap on the Barracks here, could follow up with Marauders, can follow up with a very fast stim here as well. But one thing's for certain is this pressure's coming, and Speed is not ready. He will have to defend with Queens and Slowlings alone.
Tricky stuff, isn't it? Let's see what he can pull out of his magical hat. Now, Marauder Hellion is a nasty combination. It's actually one of the combinations that annoys me the most just because of how difficult it is to deal with, and it's becoming more prevalent. We'll see if we get... Yes, that's exactly it. There we go. Just to say that the Marauder is coming down, and MMA gets a little bit of a scout. Sees Crawler, and is going to be able to bypass it entirely, which is a bad start already. Ready for Symbol.
Yeah. Yes, he only has slow links here, and they will get roasted. The drones are now open, and he's gonna get a couple of kills. He does. And is he going to be able to get any more
damage? And Symbol looking to try and get this around on there. Excellent micro from both players. able to do quite a lot of damage here. Might allow the Queens to actually finish them off. There's one down, looks to take another, and splitting his lings up, trying to get the interception of the reinforcements there. MMA plays ring around the rosy with it quite nicely. Some unbelievable control on display. Oh, evacuated down to the natural.
And MMA actually called down energy onto a supply depot because he was a little bit supply blocked at that current point in time. But he was staying here for his opponent, who is only building drones at this current point in time, thinking that the aggression is over.
Yep, and that's a real problem, isn't it? That Ling gets a scout of more Hellions, who's thinking,
This is it. Stim is done. 5 Marauders, 6 Hinds, and all the SCVs. There's no Baneling Nest. There's absolutely only Lings available, and already 2 additional spines coming. As the Overlord saw, there was nobody mining at home. He knows this is all in. 3 additional spines.
Well, incredibly quickly. There's a lot of firepower available here, and SCVs are going to buffer damage, and MMA deploys CVs, and this is going to get messy to start off this series. Quick try, and this is just looking impossible to hold here for Symbol. It would be against that many Hellions, and the natural is now going down here as well. Symbol continues to try and get Lings out.
Yeah, he's fighting Lings against Marauders, and then Hellions hiding behind them. So he's never going to be able to touch the Hellions, and they will murder every single Ling here. Only 8 Lings in production, and MMA has secured a strategic win here in this best of 7, and MMA will play. This is his strength. Long, dramatic series where he can exploit mind games, different strategies, and not just play straight up every single time. And this is it. This is it. The drones are coming off, and they can't do anything here.
They can't. They'll be roasted immediately by those Hellions. That's the real problem here. Another Hellion comes in to reinforce. That's the GG, and a nice start here for MMA, who goes all in, knowing that he's got the opportunity he needs to finish it off. And if you've got that opportunity, you should take it.
Yeah, great options there, and decisions chosen by MMA, and pulls off a miraculous win in this best of 7. Always great to open up the series with that first initial map to follow through with whatever he decides to choose next, depending on the map. And I think that was the best choice for a best of 7. I think it was the best choice for Belshire Beach, and MMA comes out with one statement alone, and that is he is going for the win.
Yes, he is. We're going to have a quick restart of the stream, folks, because apparently there's been abnormal amounts of lag. We will be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hopefully the stream is now stabilized to the best of its ability. We're going to game 2, which is going to be on GSL Daybreak.
Yeah, GSL Daybreak there, and it's a little bit sad that that messed up the first game, audio issue, but hopefully is fixed now. But as I was saying, MMA with the best decision for a best-of-7 series and the best decision for that map. Leading into Daybreak now, he will play more, he'll play slower, he'll play to the map, probably Barracks Command Center, even without taking gas. And, you know, put the next question to Symbol. Can you defend an all-in? You know, the answer was no. Can you defend or play a longer, straight-up macro game against me? Well, that's what is the questions on the table. What is Symbol's answer going to be? And if it's anything like we've seen throughout the rest of the tournament, then Symbol is equal to the task. But this is a Code S champion he's going up against.
Another one. He's been demolishing them quite quickly, I've got to say. And this is a good matchup for him, but gotta say, MMA is no slouch in it either. Daybreak, a good map for it. Saw some great games in the qualifiers against Polt, actually, on this map. He played really, really well there. Against Polt, actually, on this map. He played really, really well there. So, as he said, yeah, I think he is up to the task. But if you have this all-in opportunity, which MMA did, then you should take it if it guarantees you the win. That's the smart play to do. And it pretty much was a guaranteed win, and that's one reason why Marauder Hellion is just such a nightmare early game against Zerg.
Yeah, and it's such a great play. It really does mess with the opponent's mindset going into this best-of-7 series.
Yes, it does. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Daybreak. TSL Symbol. He is in the Zerg trunks, and he is playing blue to the southwest. There you go. That's good. Versus his opponent, Slayer's MMA. He is in the red trunks playing Terran to the northeast.
Alright, so let's see how this is going to unravel here. As MMA has a lot of experience in finals. He's won a lot of tournaments over his time, of course. Code S, MLG, Blizzard Cup, Intel Extreme Masters. That's 4 super impressive wins that he's got under his belt compared to an opponent that's been doing well on an online tournament. Got probably the biggest win of his offline career here today. And we're about to, well, find out if Symbol can do the distance. He's got a fantastic aggressive style within this matchup. If allowed to breathe, MMA didn't give him any room in that last game to play his own game. No. And I'm sure this time around Symbol will get that opportunity.
As it should be, really. And I just want to see Symbol play to his full potential. I want to see MMA play to his full potential. I don't begrudge him for the all-in. Quite the contrary. It's the correct strategic decision in this competitive setting, and it gives you that mental edge in best of 7.
Proxy barracks by MMA, and this so he can lift up the barracks and kill an overlord, which is usually positioned right next to that barracks. And sometimes if the overlord sees nothing, they make the hop over to the natural where they can spot the gases. So already MMA playing towards the map, knowing where Zerg players like to place that overlord. Overlord though is not going to go there. It's actually going to go behind the third base, then mark its way up. And there is a gasless style coming out from MMA who will look for that command center really on here and just play that more focused, more macro, straight-up style.
Yeah, Zerg players have learned. They learned quite rapidly about that little trick as soon as it came into play. It does mean it takes longer for the Overlord to actually get into a good position, so even then, it's a nice play. It doesn't really do a huge amount. Obviously, if you put your barracks down there, you don't wall in, and your opponent does something crazy like 6 pulls you or whatever, then you're in a bit of trouble there. But in this position, no, it's totally fine. He's not too concerned about that.
Where's this Marine going to head back? It's going to head back to kill that drone, and he shouldn't really build a second Marine once he grabs that command center immediately. And we do have Hatchery first, of course, then followed by Spawn and Pull for Symbol. On this map, he doesn't really need to grab early gas. He can actually go for multiple Queen builds. He can even grab an earlier third base upon knowing that there's a command center coming down for his opponent, because he knows there's not going to be any fast reactor Hellions out whatsoever. And that, of course, is the bane of actually taking or not taking that third base, depending on if your opponent will go for Hellions or not, to actually deny any units to defend it, any drones to be saturated over there.
That's very true. Spawning Pool now complete here for Symbol, and Hatchery also complete just around the same time there. And no real aggressive options for Symbol as of yet. It's a deceptively... I'm trying to think, deceptively small or deceptively large. Which is the true one? Whatever the case, it's deceptive. It is larger than it looks. It is not a small map at all. It does take a while to actually get across. So applying early game aggression on this map, it's an option, it's just nowhere near as effective as you might think on first glance, and as a result we tend to get these really nice long macro games on there without the pacing problems that a map like, say, Calm Before the Storm has.
And Symbol already in a bit of a lead in this game, even though a small lead it is he actually, with a single drone, prevented the command center from being built, and because of that, MMA had to move an SCV to actually go to the Zelnaga Tower, and that was not mining whatsoever. But look at this, MMA, with a remarkable stance in this game, is taking a third base before anything here. This is nuts.
Oh, this is MKP kind of greed, and I tell you what, Symbol likes to punish that, but does he know? That's the thing. Symbol always seems to be tailoring his strategies, from what I've seen, heavily to his opponent. His 3-0 win over Marine King Prime showed an obvious understanding of the greed that Marine King Prime often demonstrates. MMA, though, really well-rounded playstyle, varying things up, having already all-in the first game of this series. Symbol doesn't really seem to have a response to this at all. He's just droning. He's not adding on any tech as of yet. He is mining from 2 gases, looking to go to lair fairly rapidly.
This is really smart play from MMA. He's just inside his opponent's head.
Oh, yeah.
You know, first game, complete aggression. Second game, a third command center. There's an Overlord moving. It will not be in range, though, of that third command center, especially if a Marine targets it, because it should actually turn around, and yes, it does. And Overlord is shut out, and Symbol remains in the dark here, and he does start that lair before speed. He's actually rushing up to Mutilus play here, and we see MMA actually grabbing double engineer bait as well as the third command center here. This is the ultimate greed. If this was even smelt out, it's such an easy win for Symbol, but that's not the case now. He has absolutely no idea, and MMA playing the best of 7 series beautifully.
Yep, and I think that what we're seeing here is the veterancy of MMA actually coming into play. While Symbol was a B-teamer, he did play Brood War. What he hasn't done is played StarCraft 2 at this high tournament level. This is his first international appearance, his first major tournament appearance, aside from the actual qualifier for this event. And it seems to be showing, because MMA's got his number at the moment, which is something that no other player has really managed to do with Symbol.
And the longer this goes on without the knowledge of that third base, the harder it gets. And the Overlord is finally moving from the south side north, but it's not going to see the command center here, so he remains in the dark. He has absolutely no idea, and there's the Spire coming down. There's still no third base. MMA scouts with his hands, and I'm sure in his booth he is smiling right now, as he's going to have 1-1 by the time Mutilus pop out.
Exactly.
It's going to be so crazy. And now he even scans to get rid of creep tumors. Symbol is getting played like a fiddle.
Yes, he is, and he's somewhat out of tune, unfortunately. It's that screeching noise that you hear that you just want to go away, but it burns itself into your mind like a brand. That's what this is currently like. The third base is coming down right now for Symbol, and those Mutalisks, when they do pop out, are going to run into some very well-prepared Marines. The armory's going to be ready. 2-2 is going to kick in pretty much immediately. He's got the gas and the resources to make that work, and MMA would have to blunder pretty hard to throw away this kind of position.
Yeah, and Symbol probably can say, he probably has a third base, probably at the back of his main. Well, no, that's not the case here. And look, the barracks production just got ramped up now. 3 extra barracks, about to begin 2-2. 9 Mutalisks are on the way, but there's already 10 Marines out, and even though that's a small number, there will be 1-1, there will be stim by the time Mutalisks get across the map. And then, with all the reactors, with all the extra barracks he's added on, he's going to have even more in terms of Marines. And because he knows the third base, is so late of Symbol, he can already know that it's Mutalisks and turrets. I would not be surprised if turrets came down just after the 10-minute mark, which is now in preparation for this. And MMA is just a perfect game.
He's powering ahead, and it's so unfortunate that we didn't see the kind of punishment that we saw against Marine King Prime. But this may reveal a potential weakness in Symbol, in that he, kind of like players like Thorzane, his strength is in preparation. He obviously prepared for the games against an ST, but MMA has got so much variety in his playstyle now. And in the meantime, we've got Symbol actually bringing Burrow into play and going for 1-1 on melee.
Yeah, he's just trying to upgrade, but he's so far behind in this game. He's trying to look for an angle. He has to do something to MMA, otherwise he will just fall further and further behind. And now he does manage to get a couple of SCV kills, is picking off these combat shieldless Marines. He's getting a good amount of SCV kills here, and this is what Symbol needs to come back in this game.
He's going to need it a hell of a lot. He has droned up really hard behind this, continuing to drone hard. He's going to go to 80 drones, more than that, in fact. And MMA, because of this greedy style, is, of course, not attacking, not doing his trademark aggression, not dropping. He's letting Symbol get back into this, which could be questionable to say the least. But when MMA finally does decide to roll out, he's going to have a powerhouse of an army.
And Symbol now knows about that third base. He's double expanding at the same time, realizes, oh, crap. Oh, I can't believe he's done this to me. And, well, yeah, it's true. This is not a dream. MMA actually did that to you. And now he's coming down with Mules to the third base. Once again, managing to do damage. He is actually very much so cost-effective with these Mules. Done a lot of damage, just cannot afford to lose them. Because if he loses them, then he has to remake them, of course. Unless he just sits and takes all the macro heat from MMA, and he cannot be affording to remake any Museless in this game, considering how far he is behind. He has to get pathogen glands, he has to build banelings, he has to get infestors. He cannot afford to remake these guys.
Big macro game from both players. 76 workers for each. Of course, the addition of Mules giving the edge once again to MMA. But when these armies finally do clash, it's going to be pretty epic. There's no real question about that. And Symbol has been holding MMA in his base for the longest time, but there are dropships out of here. And if MMA manages to find where the Mutalisks are, he can start to safely drop. He's been stopped from doing so because of their presence thus far. Symbol runs right into a wall of bullets. MMA doing significant damage.
He's just prevented so much damage, even though we have seen 7 SCV kills and a little bit of turret damage here and there, but still, this squad of Marine Marauders is 2-2 already. The Lings are still only 1-1.
And right now looking to try and get us around a good connection with Banelings. MMA more than prepared for that, meets that with a wall of furious fire, and Symbol doesn't want to be there, absolutely not. Blue Flame Hellions to back that up. That is one dead base here. Symbol still has 4, of course, but MMA pushes his way across the map and is able to do significant damage with no losses.
Yeah, and he's got a 4th command center building at the same time, but that doesn't matter. It looks like Symbol trying to look for an angle in here. He has what it takes to beat this army down.
He does, but great splitting here from MMA, and MMA is going to make Symbol pay for every single hit. And, oh, that is unpleasant to watch. That's a lot of Mutalisks gunned down right there by those 2-2 Marines, and Symbol perhaps underestimating their durability.
Yeah, they're very, very strong at this current point in time, and he's having to remake Ling, Baneling, Infestor. He can't go to Hive, and Hive is the only key in beating the economy, the production available from MMA. If he stays on this mid-tier tech, MMA will eventually overwhelm him. He's about to take a 4th base here. Great control with these Mutalisks doing little bits of damage here and there, but as we can see, 2-2 upgrades are on the way, but 3 from MMA, and he's about to go crazy mode, as in dropping all over the place. He's moving squads of Marines to the top, squads of Marines to the south, while about to establish that 4th base in the center. Absolutely fantastic play from MMA.
Yeah, well, Symbol does have a couple of Infestors. It's not as many as I would like. He is going to go for Hive next round, and Infestors have now been revealed. Single Scouting Marine heads up in that direction. The Mutalisk count is nowhere near as high. It's still a threat. So if MMA does try to drop, Mutalisk could be there to nail it down. That's what's been holding him back up to this point, but he's got this pretty strong push coming in here, and Symbol's actually going all the way to the bottom right now.
Yeah, he's just looking for a different angle, really. But there's 3 Ghost Academies down. MMA is loving every second of this game, going over into nukes just to kind of zone out and also mimic or kind of take the mick out of his opponent here. And look at this, so many units, so well upgraded. MMA can't physically lose a fight here.
No, I don't think so, but that was a nice fungal. I've got to say, the Baneling smashed through MMA's army. Some good splitting at the end of that, but still unnecessarily costly, I feel, there for MMA. And, oh, there's actually barely any anti-air, so good bit of damage done there by those Mutalisks as well. Resources lost fairly equal, but MMA still with an edge.
Remember, MMA actually lost his 4th command center while that was going on. Mutalisk did target it down, so it was a bit of a win there. Aside from not killing the army, it was a win economically for Symbol, who is coming around with a counterattack again. And MMA is moving towards the north. I don't think he cares. He's going to continue to move and defend with his reinforcements.
Yes, he is. Lots of nice cleanup here from Symbol, but if MMA is able to get a good position here and take this 4th out, which is looking increasingly likely, then things are going to start to get very, very unpleasant. The medevac count is nice and high. That force is nice and durable. It's 3-3. Symbol has only just started those upgrades. He has a run by right now from Symbol, trying to do as much damage as he can. Those Marauders just not going down fast enough. Symbol not really able to do the damage necessary.
Yeah, and his gas income is incredibly stunted right now. There's a lot of Marauders out here. He has to be so careful with the Marines. If he loses the Marines, he'll be able to actually lose everything here. Mulus will do a lot of damage, but Marines at the back do survive. There is a drop inside the main base as well, Total Biscuit, from MMA, who's killing the spawning pool once again, and it does get a transfuse, a second transfuse, but with +3 attack, it will go down.
Yes, it will, sadly enough, and that attack was nasty, man. MMA managed to buffer a lot of the Baneling splash damage on the Marauders at the front, and the Marines remained alive. That's where the majority of the firepower was. Unfortunately for Symbol, where a lot of the squish was that he would have loved to exploit. He's got an Ultra right now, which is an intriguing prospect. I'm not liking it, though. MMA's got a really good lead in this game.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't just clump up all his Marines and Marauders and die to Fungal Growth, he will absolutely win this game. And even if he does lose his units, he has so much income behind this to just replenish that army over and over again.
Yeah, the Mutalists finally get thrown out of the sky here, doing significant damage before they go down. And there's the Fungal Growth to follow that one up. Is there one more Fungal in that? There very well might be, and that was a lot of damage Symbol did there, but his supply count plummets as well, and there's the GG, and MMA with a 2-0 lead already. This is looking insurmountable. If MMA keeps playing like this, then Symbol doesn't have a prayer.
And 5 reactors in total that game towards the end with triple tech labs, so that's a lot of production available, and he was just steamrolling his opponent in that game, and it really wasn't Symbol's fault, I suppose you can say. He just got out mind gamed, and as soon as, it doesn't matter because Symbol saw it, but it was too late. As soon as that happened, as soon as he saw it, it was too late for him to do anything about it, and MMA just didn't drop the ball. He just absolutely cruised through on full steam ahead.
MMA's TvZ. God, it's terrifying, it really is. And Symbol's going to have to find a way around this, and he's also going to have to get out of this mindset here. He's playing a little bit too blind, and MMA's just exploiting it to the fullest.
Yeah, MMA just absolutely demolishing Symbol so far. Game 1 and Game 2 so incredibly one-sided, but the next map is going to be Cloud Kingdom. Will Symbol be able to play toe-to-toe with these kind of mind games? Because I'm sure it's so frustrating for Symbol, losing 2 non-standard games against an opponent in a best-of-7 finals, taking that big 0-2 hit already. He's 2 maps behind already, and it could easily spiral out of control here.
It very well could. Could we see a 4-0 sweep for the GSL champion, or will Symbol be able to rally from this position? Cloud Kingdom, the map are run-bys without question, but I've got to think what kind of psychological edge MMA's currently got. Symbol is not that experienced. MMA, on the other hand, is, and is just cruising this grand final.
Yeah, MMA has so much experience. This is his, like, one of his, I don't know if it's his best matchup or not, but the Terran versus Zergs I've seen it from a Zerg perspective. I've sat behind Zerg players, and it is basically the fog of war. At the mid stages, early stages of the game as a Zerg player, you can hold all of it. But against MMA, if I could mimic it, it's basically the fog of war just slowly crawls to absolutely nothing until you type GG. From every single angle, there's exclamation marks coming down that you're being under attack, and he plays so incredibly fast, drops, waypoints. He's just all over the place and is so relentless, never gives Zerg a room to breathe.
Indeed, but will Symbol be able to come back from that? And we did say that ZBT is a great matchup, but not showing it thus far. Then again, we are watching him against MMA, one of the best in the world, so I don't know if it's even fair to say that, but we shall see, we shall see. I think if this map ends up going down, then considering Symbol's already picked 2 and has lost on every one of them, then MMA might be looking for that 4-0 sweep, and the slump from Symbol is not looking good right now.
Yeah, he just has to be careful. He needs to kind of think about what MMA is doing. As much as Symbol said in his pre-game interview that MMA is just another Terran, he doesn't care who he's playing against. It's just another Terran player. You can't think like that really in a best-of-7 series. You have to think about the mind games that MMA can play. And even in the pre-game interview again that MMA said or answered with to the question of, Symbol may have prepared for you. What are you going to do? What are you worried about that? What are you going to do? And MMA said, no, that's fine. I'll just use it to my advantage. I'll play mind games with him because he'll see something, expect something like I normally do, and I'll do the complete opposite. And I think that's a fantastic answer, and it's clearly been shown in this series.
Indeed it has, and we are ready for our Cloud Kingdom matchup, Mr. D Apollo. And the question is, will Mr. MMA be dominating Symbol once again this time around, or will we start to see the comeback from our up-and-comer, our underdog story all the way to the Grand Finals, which is already an astonishing achievement from Symbol, and he'll be very proud of that, but will he fall at the last hurdle? Let's find out, because the guy standing in his way is Slayers MMA. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing tournament to the northeast of the Cloud Kingdom versus his opponent, the one and only TSL Symbol in the blue trunks, playing Zerg to the southwest.
And in Symbol's mind now, what is he thinking? That's what I'm trying to think of right now. It's very hard to tell, because in game 1 he sees complete aggression all in. Game number 2 he sees basically a macro cheese, which for anybody that doesn't understand that, it's basically the complete opposite. And because you cheese with being aggressive and throwing it all in, or you cheese by saying, I hope he doesn't attack me, and then if he doesn't, I'm gonna win. So there's two types of cheese within StarCraft, and MMA, if you're thinking through Symbol, what is he going to do now? Is he just going to go for a 2-base push? Is it going to be something in the middle? Or is he going to go to another extreme?
Yeah, and that's scary, isn't it? And cheese, the factor that... I'm not even going words. Let's try words. I'm sorry, I've been up since 4 AM. Well, there's the barracks in an interesting position, one way or the other, but that, of course, could be just there to knock out the Overlord, which tends to hang around in this position. The factor that you can see in cheese that is the same every time is that it relies on being hidden from the opponent. So economic cheese, aggressive cheese, it's all pretty much the same, and I think Symbol just needs to be more aware. He needs to keep scouting, he needs not to miss these kind of things.
Yeah, and on this kind of map, it is relatively small. It's very easy to scout if your opponent's going to do something crazy. You can get decent scouting from the main base and from the natural, and also from the third base here. It's really, really easy. So I expect Symbol, not just because of the map, but completely in the series, has to be a hands-on approach. Eyes everywhere to know exactly how to react playing the reactionary race to what MMA is doing here. MMA, with this proxy barracks, like we said, it's just to lift up and check if there's an Overlord above there. Yep. But he is going to be taking an expansion play. The question is, for Symbol, is it going to be like double gas into Cloak Banshee third? Is it fast reactor Hellions? These are the questions he has to ask himself to find out. Otherwise, he could fall to the trickery of MMA again.
He could. Well, in this case, it's just going to be a gasless expansion here from MMA, who will now move that barracks over to the other side. Can still lift up if an Overlord does end up there, but it's not going to be for a while. He's going to round the other side. In fact, he'll eventually be able to make his way into the base, and there's the double gas coming in to follow that one up as well. Just the hatchery first play, really standard from both players at the moment. MMA looking potentially to get a bunker down. Probably not going to do too much damage with it if he does, but he may be able to force a few drones off the line if he decides to go down that route. The Marine coming in here as well, just denying that mining, so already a little bit of a win there for MMA.
Yeah, just a little bit of a win there for basically nothing. These units could have easily be sat at home, but he made the drones come off. So a nice small little poke at his opponent, and these small advantages do tally up eventually. But we are going to have, from what it seems, just a regular, one barracks command center, then into reactor Hellions here. The follow-up from that can be multiple different things. So we're going to have to follow tabs on MMA to decide what he's going to choose to throw up against Symbol. Symbol, though, has got gas, has got speed, is out of the extractor, and is mining solely minerals now with a third queen on its way. Does want to get that creep spread going. Creep spread, and just having speed early on will make him feel a lot more comfortable. Because last game, he just went 2-base slow without even getting speed.
Yeah, and he completely lacked the map control. He had no idea what was going on, and the decision to go muter, it wasn't terrible. He did well with it for a time, but if he'd known about that really greedy play, he wouldn't have gone Mutalisk. He simply would not.
I wonder if Symbol's gonna try to all-in or something, but with 3 queens, you don't really see that happen too often.
No.
And MMA doesn't quite see the 3rd queen pop out, so he can't actually put that puzzle back together as we were talking about. But with 3 queens, you kind of dedicate to playing a lot longer of a series, get that creep spec going, try to take that 3rd base. And Symbol still hasn't gone back into gas, and it looks like a drone is actually moving out to take that 3rd base there. So we are going to see a passive, macro-focused game from Symbol, but MMA, what is he going to do?
It's interesting, isn't it? Well, this could just be another Marauder Hellion by the looks of it. He's pumping out quite a few already. Takes his total to 2 now. There's going to be 2 more to follow that one up. He's gone straight into Stim there and building a Marine. It still could be for a Marauder, certainly. It's going to add another barracks on top of that, so not a clue at this stage. What do you reckon?
Just looks like so far pretty standard. I mean, he hasn't cut any corners. He hasn't gone too greedy. Hasn't gone too aggressive. He has thrown down starport now too. So 3 barracks with a starport. We're now going to see whether he'll be aggressive or not, depending on what he does next. Whether he decides to start tank production, whether he decides to add on additional barracks or throw a 3rd base down. But so far, just right center in the middle of everything so far. And Symbol throwing down a Roach Horn and Evolution Chamber. And this is also pretty standard, pretty normal from Symbol too.
MMA now is going to scout the 3rd, and the creep isn't quite there yet, but it's going to be there pretty shortly. MMA hasn't really managed to prevent that in any way. Hellions now in range. I'm going to take that hatchery down, but there's no point in risking transferring drones while those Hellions continue to sit there, so they do serve a purpose one way or the other. Roaches could be built in order to get rid of them, but that would reveal the Roach tank.
Yeah, and he's got to be careful about not revealing such strategies, but MMA would have to sacrifice basically 4 Helens if you try to go inside.
Yep.
We do have 4 gases taken though. This doesn't look like Mueller's play. It looks like just Ling, Roach, Infester. Whether it'll be an aggressive Ling, Roach, Infester play or a more defensive one, we'll have to find out. But MMA is adding on a couple of Helens here, interestingly. He hasn't decided to go up to tanks, hasn't even decided to get another gas yet. And this is the reason why he's added a Hellion, not tanks, is because he needs the gas for medivacs actually here. Because of that late 3rd refinery. But so far, so normal for MMA. Is starting to accumulate more minerals. Whether he'll decide to continue this aggression or throw down a 3rd. He may actually just play very normal, very standard, and throw down a 3rd base momentarily.
Hey, good. MMA actually goes for the pickup and straight up into a drop, and nothing to spot that just yet. That Ling on the 3rd base doesn't see it, and this could prove to be problematic, especially with the Hellions backing it up. A Hellion prod from the front, maybe a drop from the side or rear, could end up happening quite shortly. Infestation Pit coming in, and the Baneling Nest as well. Double upgrades for the ground. Still unspotted. Now that Overlord's going to see it coming in, and it will give him a few seconds to react to it, certainly, but there's no sign of him actually reacting. There he finally goes for it as the units start to deploy and forces that drop away.
And no other decisions yet made from MMA. No decisions whatsoever. Just continue with the starting his tank production, should I say. Though Symbol now is kind of being a little bit careful. He's added on Spore Crawlers and Spine Crawlers to defend against drops. And there's that 3rd base coming down from MMA, so he's just going to take that slower, more steady pace in this game and rely on his late game rather than trying to do anything extreme in this game.
That's very true. MMA now looking to try and pressure. Doesn't have a huge amount there to do it with, but wants to poke and prod at that 3rd hatchery down there. Tries to get aggressive and nailing down a Spine Crawler as well. There's a lot of Banelings and Lings ready to do that, but the Hellions could make this a little bit of a dicey prospect. It's a nice composition. Let's see if it works. And now trying to get around the side. Wants to get away from the Marauders. What a detonation that was. But the majority of the Marines get away.
Yeah, big detonation there, but the Ling follow-up is more than enough to ward this away, especially because there is like an awkward Baneling in there, which immediately, oh no, he misses it, doesn't get targeted down, but MMA picks up, gets out of there, will return home to a couple of tanks now with Siege Mode on the way, +1 armor, will of course start the Engineering Bay and Armory momentarily here too, but added on additional barracks. So far, so standard for MMA, but Symbol needs to think about his strategy. Is he going to go 3-base hive here? Is he going to take a 4th base anytime soon?
Well, Symbol now is going to donate some Lings to MMA's cause, which is not the best strategy in the world, but he did get caught between the retreating Marines and the advancing tank Marine medevac that was coming from the base as a reinforcement there. He's got a nice number of drones, and he's got a good amount of tech available. He is gaining a pretty significant upgrade advantage here. Might just look for a timing on 2-2.
Potentially may do, especially if he doesn't grab a 4th base soon, but he is about to grab one on the left-hand side there as he has the creep spread connected to that base, but MMA has really ramped up that production, has not quite added on the 2nd Engineering Bay Armory yet, and will need to do so because, you know, like you just said, 2-2's on the way for Symbol, so that will, of course, help him out a lot. MMA potentially looking for a snipe on that hatchery. It is down to low health, half hit points.
It very much is, yeah, he could do it, and it looks like Symbol's just going to abandon it completely. Has no intention of staying on that. He is already building another one up to the top here to try and replace that, but that means that the drone count of Symbol is just too high here. He's going to oversaturate, and that advantage disappears for a while, and that's so very important.
Drop into the main base, not going to do anything here. It picked up nice and easy, but I think he had to sacrifice it because he hasn't got Baneling speed. You know, it's very, very late in this game.
Yeah.
And that may have been a reason he can't really engage with slow Banelings when there's 3 tanks sitting there. So he was kind of forced to give it up, but is he going to look for a sandwich here to kind of deal the damage back to MMA or not? Because if MMA goes home and retreats with every single unit here, that's like job well done, guys.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, you took out a base and did that much damage. That's wonderful. You wasted so much mining time. You only killed one drone, but hey, we can forgive you for that. And, well, MMA's just going to leave now, and, well, Symbol is going for this big flank up to the top. He's going to catch a number of Marines out of position, eliminate them without too much of a problem here. He's got quite a few Infestors as well, and MMA could get sandwiched here, actually. You really could. There's forward Banelings. Oh, yeah, he's a really nice fungal. Nails that down. The Banelings go off. Not really doing much, but that is an easy overwhelm here for Symbol. MMA gets caught in the center, and suddenly things swing back into Symbol's favor.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he doesn't kill that army, then this game might as well just end. You cannot just give your third base away and not allow, or, you know, stop MMA and allow him to get home. So MMA now on a kind of standard back foot. This is actually where he should have been, because he was meant to lose that army if you're going to try to kill the third base like that. But he's confident, he's in a good position. The scary thing is that 3-3 upgrades are on the way here. And Adrenal Glands too, as well as an Ultralisk Cannon, so pretty damn fast high. There is a drop in the main base here by MMA, catching Symbol way out of position.
That's very true, and oh look, he's going for the spawning pool again. Well, there's enough lings at least to clean that up, and in the meantime, Symbol with a small force, but a lot of Infestors in it, and quite a lot of energy too, trying to push forward here, and he's not going to find anything really. He's going up against a pretty strong defense, but more to the point, if he continues to keep this secure, gets his 4th base up and running, transitions through to Ultra and keeps this upgrade speed up, because he's kept up a really nice upgrade speed this entire game. He is at 3, he's getting to 3-3, whereas his opponent's only just less than halfway through 2-2.
And I wonder, MMA does know about the Ultra switch now, so MMA has a couple of options to choose himself. Does he try to push before Ultras come out? Does he wait to get a good Marauder count? Because he's only at 8. And wait for his upgrades too. Drop towards that base, picked up again by MMA, gonna drop back down. Beautiful play, just annoying his opponent more than anything, keeping his actions away from other key things, such as, you know, getting these Ultras out, expanding again. Really great, just harassment and putting the pressure on his opponent.
Nice shot with a fungal there, extreme range going in for that one, and MMA with another little drop available here if his opponent streams out. Yeah, kind of like that. A lot of units. In Link Hours at 119, and he's about to have 3-3 on both. That's very, very dangerous. Adrenal Glands is also finished. That's not something Symbol ever misses, but he is going up against a nice defense. He's got a second command center there. Could become a planetary. Could, of course, be used to lift to take a 4th. One way or the other, it's going to be hard to hit with just links.
And if MMA's caught out of position, then he can, well, he can kiss this game goodbye. He's going to be in a bad position. There's 3 Ultras out, 3 more on the way, 6 in total, combined with 130 Lings and 8 Infestors. That is a damn scary army, and he's about to take a 4th base to try and hold up his economy, hold up his income, but Symbol is not going to allow that to happen. He's about to morph in, he's about to go for a big crush. Will he be able to beat down MMA? MMA needs to spread out and hold on.
Yes, he does. Borrowed Infestors under here as well. They're going to be spotted momentarily. He's going to do something with them quickly. Throws down a bunch of Infested Terrans, tank shelling, and in streams everything that Symbol's got, which is a hell of a lot, honestly. Ling after Ling comes in. Still plenty of energy for a little bit more fungal. A couple of Ultras at the back. Baneling splash all over the place, and Symbol trying to maul everything that MMA's got. Succeeds in doing just that. Fungal nails down the mineral line as well. Thor ripped to shreds, and suddenly things are looking real grim for the Slayers player.
Yeah, superior upgrades shine through there. MMA does drop the expansions though. Tries to go to the 3rd base, does not compute there, and also tries to get the 4th hatchery down, which may actually happen here. That is a great win, but he still is on the back foot. He's trying to survive. He's making a lot of units here, but really, can he go up against all the Ultralists and the Infestors still around? I don't think so.
Down goes the hatchery anyway, but Symbol has managed to deny that 3rd, gutted it completely. SCV counts at 19, and I don't care what you say about mules, you can't replace that. A burrowed Ling even blocks the redeployment, and now Ultralists coming in, and only 2 Marauders to deal with them. Not so nice.
And, well, the game is going to slow down. MMA just with 3 Marines on the natural here. Will get picked up eventually, but the state of the game for MMA is really bad. He's at 20 SCVs, guys. He's got 26 Marines and 3 tanks. That's kind of it. And there's currently 3 Infestors, 6 Ultras, 111 Lings. The army head-to-head is 120 million times going to go in favor of Symbol. There's no doubt about that. So what does MMA need to do? He needs to sit back, hold on tight, strap himself in on this roller coaster ride, and hope it doesn't break.
And Symbol's just going to go kill him. Just go kill him. Max his army out and kill him. And that's exactly what he's looking to do here. Those upgrades are still going to prove to be so incredibly difficult to deal with. Ultras with 5 armor and only 3 Marauders and 4 tanks. That I don't see any way of killing that.
Yeah, there is no really way to kill this. This is pretty much gone out of control for MMA now.
46 Banelings, coup de grace on the way.
Yeah, he's gonna roll over MMA. Whatever MMA tries to do now, he's still spreading, Marines around left and right hand side of this map, looking for angles to go into. But he's only at 2 upgrades. He's not researching 3-3. He doesn't have enough money to research 3-3. But he is gonna deny another hatchery in the center here, which is great. But it's still not taking away the fact that this army from Symbol is about to crush base.
It's a bit silly, isn't it, really? I'm not really sure why he even built that many Banelings. Perhaps it was a symbolic gesture, but he's going to go for it right now, and MMA's going to be hard-pressed to hold this, especially if he loses tanks from an excellent surround. You ain't going anywhere, says Symbol, as he crashes his way through here. And, well, that choke point's going to prove to be a bit problematic, and a lot of Banelings focused down, but there are so many of them. And Symbol now overrunning the remaining defenses of MMA. The Ultralists do not care for your 2-2 Marines. No concern is given. And oh dear, MMA getting murdered right now as Symbol turns on the comeback machine to full power.
Yeah, and it's working well. There's no clogs in that machine because Symbol is about to beat MMA and bring back a game in this series. It will be 2 wins for MMA and just the single for Symbol. But this is probably the most important match of all 3 for Symbol, even though he lost the second game, and that could have been very devastating to him, to his confidence. The third game is the most. That basically says, no, you are not going to steamroll me. This will turn around.
There's the GG, folks. Ultralisks in your base and in your face. MMA did not compete very well on that map, not at all. And, well, MMA plays straight up and Symbol does a hell of a lot. Yeah, those gambits involved an all-in at the start, and then that economic cheese, as I said, the really early 3rd command center. Now he plays straight up, and Symbol wipes the floor with him. The question is, what does he follow that up with?
Yeah, that's the question here. Well, one thing, Symbol knows that if this goes toe-to-toe, we're in equal standings, I can beat MMA. That's what he's saying to himself right now.
Yeah, he's saying, I can absolutely do it. And he would be right, he can. He's got what he needs to make that work.
Alright, well, we'll find out what the next map is going to be shortly here. Very interested to find out. And I think it was a great grab from Symbol onto those units that killed that 3rd base. Without that grab, without that kill of that army, that segment of MMA's army, the game would have just been dead right there and then. But that was a great turning point for Symbol in that game. And the next map is going to be Calm Before the Storm, the biggest map within the map pool.
Yes, indeed. And we will be back very shortly, folks, with this one. We're just waiting for those guys to actually get set up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the next game, and oh, it's Calm Before the Storm. This could take a while.
Yeah, it's biggest map in the map pool.
Yes, it is. This is TSL Symbol, who has now taken 1 map back in this particular map pool. MMA choosing Calm Before the Storm. Macro is expected. He is in the blue trunks playing Zerg to the northeast versus his opponent, Slayers MMA. He is in the red trunks playing Terran to the southeast.
Zerg players on this map, especially within the spawning positions as we see here, most likely try 3 base all-ins, whether it be Overlord drops, Roach Hydra, not kidding when I say Hydra, or Ling, Baneling, all-ins, anything on 3 base, because once you're on 3 bases, you actually can't really take a 4th well, and your opponent is so strong on this map. This is very much so Terran favored here once again, and MMA would not even be surprised if you went command center first, really would not be surprised. But may just play safe, may just grab the barracks anyway, but some form of macro-focused build. There's absolutely no reason not to on a map this size.
No, of course not. You've got this pocket expansion that's really, really easy to hold. You can just CC first into that if you so desire. Some people get really risky. They CC first to the front and then expand again to the back, which is one of those old strategies. I remember the wonders of Delta Quadrant. And by wonders, I mean the terrible of Delta Quadrant, which involved that back expansion. Crevasse, in fact, had the same one as well. And it resulted in those big macro-focused plays that were very, very passive at the start.
And Command Center first is going to be the choice
Yep.
from MMA. And we've seen times at this stage of the game, too, where we actually blindly see Zerg players go 3 hatch before spawning pool.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, screw it. Terran goes CC first. I go 3 hatch first. But that may not be the case. We'll see what Symbol's going to choose to do.
Yeah, I'm intrigued, without question. But I don't...
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think he had anything else in mind, really, do you? Why not? Why not at the end of the day? It's not like MMA is going to be able to attack him with anything. He has no guns.
Yeah. And, you know, that's exactly the thought process of a Zerg player. Screw it. I'm going 3 hatch before pool.
3 hatch or die trying.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it, because on this map, what really are you going to do? You're going to try and go pool after that and just sit behind a guy that's gone command center first, and there's absolutely nothing you can do to stop him. Great decision from Symbol, and will obviously help so much with drone production, with unit production. And maybe he can power through to some kind of 3-base, aggressive, decisive, kill him or get out the game style. It could also be 6-gas Mutalist too. That's pretty dangerous when all of a sudden you get like 15 Mutalist pop in your base when you're unexpecting it. So we'll have to see how this game's going to develop here, but one thing for sure, probably quite long.
Yes, it'll take a while. Usually does. There's no real option for the early aggression here, and if you do go for it, it's incredibly risky. You're taking a gamble. But the 6-gas Muta suggestion that you made was pretty damn good. The transition, the hop around is not too shabby. You can come around the side of the command center. Rotational symmetry, not really making too much of a difference considering the spawning positions here one way or the other. It's a bit risky at the back because of the lack of space. I've seen many players go Muta and get completely caught out because there's really no retreat path. If you end up here behind the mineral line and the Terran player is able to get those Marines in, you're just not getting out of there without significant losses.
MMA does not actually scout the 3rd base, at the back of Symbol's base. It's a small little detail, but a detail nonetheless. Symbol, though, has to be pretty careful. There are going to be Hellions out shortly. He does have speed half-if being done, so I suppose he's okay. But his production is going to be actually out of control. He hasn't built a queen on his back 3rd base, which is interesting, because what is he doing? Oh, okay, that's smart. Because he's basically not building that, saying, all right, I'm going to get a lot of drones. I actually don't need that much lava at this point in the game because I'll have too much lava compared to my money.
Yeah.
But very shortly he will build that 3rd queen, and he will have the sickest amount of lava ever for the mid stages of this game. And we already see a 3rd command center from MMA as well. So this game, it's going deep.
It is. And hopefully it gets interesting. The thing about Calm Before the Storm is that sometimes there's a really cool payoff at the end. You've just got to be very, very patient. Good games come to those who wait. You don't see that early aggression, but you do see these big armies clashing later on. Still not exactly a favored map one way or the other, but MMA seems to like it, and now just trying to prevent the creep spread, do a little bit of damage here and there, not really succeeding in either.
Yeah, he's about to have 14 lings, which will get rid of these 2 Hellions quite easy here. He's throwing down a spine crawl anyway, but interested for the decisions. No gas has been mined after speed has been taken. He looks like he's just trying to saturate these 3 bases ASAP, as soon as possible. With 3 overlords about to be built, and that's going to be a lot of drones.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be
things. Seems unlikely. There it is, a lot of drones. 8 drones in there using up all of that lava, and he's wondering, well, you know what, actually, does he have it? Yeah, he does now actually have the 3 queens, so he's injecting all times.
Backpatch down as well. It's so much money.
Because, hey, why not? You know, this is the standard 80 lava stockpile at 7-minute mark game.
Yeah, and he's taken 4 gases now. Could actually take all 6. I think he's going to. So we are going to see quite a bit of gas income now, which will rush him straight into a 3-base tech of some sort. You know, there's a lot of different aggressive options for Symbol to choose from.
Yeah. I think he needs to get his drone count maybe just a little bit higher before he throws down another 2, perhaps, simply because that's a lot of drones that you throw in early, especially when you're only on 52. But a couple rounds more, and that's very, very likely. MMA's just sitting outside of the base, saying, you know what, you can't creep spread in this direction, we're just going to make things very, very difficult for you. Pushes forward, but the Spine Crawler and the Lings, I imagine, are just going to make this pretty much untenable for MMA, and he should be able to clean that out without too much of a problem.
Symbol sacrificed an overlord by the second or outside the main base of MMA, and did actually get the scout of the 3rd Command Center, so great scout, great Overlord's done its job here.
Worth it.
And we are going to have 1-1 on its way, Baling Nest down 2 that can work well, that it can go immediately into Baling speed here, which was a mistake in the previous game. It actually cost him a 3rd base if you think about it. But we'll see. Is he going to try and take a 4th base? It looks like he may, as he is killing the rocks at the top left.
Yeah, it could just be opening up a possibility for that. And it's not like the Link's doing anything else anyway. He can't really surround MMA with that number without taking significant losses, so he's not too concerned about that one. And more Banelings being morphed now, an Infestation Pit being added on as well. Just the Ling Infester style with the double upgrades coming in nicely. Admittedly, what I have to say is that MMA is keeping up on upgrades this time around, which is going to be very, very helpful to him. That's something he wasn't able to do in the previous match.
And we are getting the Overlord speed being researched too. This is a very big map. You do want to try and get your Overlord spread across as much as possible. Overseer from Symbol enters the base of MMA. He's going to check his production, check what this guy is up to, and it's just going to see pretty much what he expects. Double engineering bay, a lot of barracks been thrown down, and this game is playing out how Symbol could predict really. And he hasn't taken that 4th base. He's about to take 4th base, sorry, as I say that drone does move out to take that 4th base. But I wonder if he's going to throw down the hive soon. It'd be an interesting decision. Macro hatch, though, say the least.
Yep. Hey, why not? Add the more macro hatches, and there is that 4th coming down here as well. And Symbol's also working on these rocks because, hey, why not? Could actually just turn around and try and kill that, but that was pretty well upgraded, 1-1. That's going to be pretty messy, and Symbol takes quite a lot of damage in the process, losing a number of Lings unnecessarily and decides to leave. Burrow coming in quite early on here from Symbol. Some shenanigans could be in play. He has tried Burrowed Banelings against MMA, and it hasn't worked yet.
Yeah, he's also got a bunch of Spore Crawlers coming down too to stop drops, because that's, you know, one of MMA's strengths. He will drop you no matter what.
Yep.
There's that fast hive coming down, so 2-2 working alongside that, and he will be going for these pretty damn fast ultras. MMA only has, well, 2 tech labs is good, and he's about to throw down 3 additional barracks, so could easily add on a couple more. And with this 4th base going up, so far so good for Symbol. Ventral Sacs being researched as well. So we've got to keep an eye on that, whether he tries to do something crazy, tries to drop MMA. As drops to the back of MMA could be devastating too, but MMA is going to kill the 4th base. This is actually huge.
Yeah, and actually, no, the save might come in. There's a lot of lanes coming in, but maybe it might be too little too late. And, well, he does save it for the moment, but MMA's not going to let that lie. He wants that dead if he can get it. And it goes right around the back. It is,
if he gets that dead.
Well, he's not going to now. And he can just continue to screw around, I suppose, and then go round to the back of this base here instead, and then maybe just trick him or hang around and just wait for the Lings to leave and then drop back down and eliminate it. But there's now a push coming from MMA as well, which could prove a useful distraction to do just that. Tanks, Marines, Marauders and Hellions now bashing their way through the defenses, and Symbol's going to have to make a choice here. Does he abandon that 4th base and let it die? A lot of creep tumors eliminated. That's going to give MMA a nice edge going forward.
He's forgot Baneling speed again, which is quite crucial here. He really does need that. And this 4th base, Marauders 2 drop down. They're going to stim, no stim, and the hatchery won't go down. It will survive a little bit longer here. But great little move by MMA there. It was a little bit scary because he could have lost everything. But the Overlords are getting kind of close towards this natural. Is he going to try something crazy here? I don't know. There's a lot of... Look at these Overlords. What do they do?
Well, he's got Veneral Sacs. Is he seriously going to Doom Drop his opponent? He very well could, and MMA is completely out of position at the moment for that. He could, of course, try Baneling Drop into the center. It's difficult, though. Right? Against Stim Marines, it's really hard to do. But he could nail them down, of course, with... He is going to do it. He could nail it down with Fungal, which...
It's a drop towards the back of Symbol, though, right now by MMA, who managed to get in despite Spore Crawlers being there.
Yeah, it does make things a little bit awkward,
But he's going to drop the army, like you said, Total Biscuit.
He's going for it, he's going for it, and this is risky. He loses a lot, but that was a nice splash right there. No Fungal to follow that one up, so it was very, very costly. It is driving this army back, though.
Yeah, and he will be able to kill all of it if he chases down, as long as the Infestors can catch up. Link's got to be careful, though. They are only at 2-2, and they may die. The drop still remains, actually. 2 Marines and a Marauder. Ultraless Cavern is down. The plating upgrade is on its way as well here. And a 4th command center to be made by MMA. But so far, okay for Symbol, but he is down in army supply. He's also down in overall supply here.
Borrowed Banelings here from Symbol, once again, not really getting the opportunity he needs to actually detonate them. I like the fact that he's still using them, certainly, and maybe he does get a detonation at some point that turns things around. Well, we saw Ghost Academy coming down from MMA. No actual ghosts on the field as of yet. Symbol, the problem with Symbol is he spent a lot of money not to do a huge amount. The Baneling drop was flashy, but it wasn't as effective as it needed to be. Lings now, you know, this is much more cost effective. Hey, it's Lings, no problem. On 4 bases, let's just overrun you with a...
has a squad of units in the top left ready to snipe that hatchery. If that hatchery goes down, oh my god, I don't even know how to explain it. And oh my god, the scan sees absolutely nothing there. The hatchery's open. The hatchery will go down. And the economy, the economies,
a hive of economies,
is just destroyed. He has 6 ultras about to pop. He has good upgrades. He cannot replenish this army. His main is soon to be mined out. There's only 30, 20, 50 mineral patches there. Oh, it's so bad. And he's morphing his last squad of Banelings, and I think he's just going to go for it. He's like, screw you, MMA! This is it! This is it! We're going to fight no matter what.
All or nothing. Well, Lings is starting to run down MMA's army, doing significant damage. Symbol has a hell of a lot of Banelings, and he does have Ultralisk as well. Oh, nicely done. There, we finally see the borrowed Banelings actually do some damage, and that's going to be crucial in this upcoming fight. MMA can't replenish in time before the army comes in. Will he decide to actually use the drop, or is he simply going to fake it? He's got no Banelings in there just yet. Missing Baneling speed, he only just starts Baneling speed right now, so he may even need to drop to actually make them connect one way or the other.
Yeah, that's pretty much his only option here. There are 2 borrowed Banelings by those tanks. Didn't quite, you know, step on the Marines there, but there is a drop towards the back of Symbol's base once again here.
Big.
An Ultralisk awaits it, and the drop is warded away, but Symbol's army's getting awfully scary here. He's looking for an opening. There's a Planetary Fortress about to finish, and if that finishes, this is such a difficult position to engage.
Oh, those borrowed Banelings just not quite in the right position, and Symbol must be absolutely furious about that. The army of MMA is split because of that big drop here. Of course, it's going to cause a lot of problems, but this is an opportunity perhaps for Symbol to actually smash his opponent. The thing is, he's more focused on actually defending this. The Ultras come in. The transition now to drop once again on this base. I don't think there's enough Lings to stop this.
The borrowed Banelings at the 6 o'clock base is so close towards that. And the 4th base, as you said, is not going to be able to go up once again here. But those 2 Banelings, if he connects with any percentage higher than 20 of the Marines, then the army can actually overrun this.
God damn, that must be infuriating. That really, really must be infuriating. He's walked everywhere but those Banelings.
Oh god, big fungals, sick fungals!
Absolutely huge. Ultralisk drop harass. He goes in for it. The Banelings are behind there. He's raining down on top of... Oh my god, MMA getting massacred here. Will Symbol be able to break it? Connections all over the place. That was devastating for both sides.
Great fight, but he does not have enough here. MMA picks up to drop on the Infestors to clean up the Infestors. MMA with 1,500 minerals in the bank will replenish this army nice and easy. He has a 4th base, and Symbol has been deprived of it all game long, and that one attack was not enough.
No, it was not. Symbol is building more Ultralisk, going to end up... no, he doesn't lose that Infestor. Well, he's going to lose it now, unfortunately. I'm actually surprised he didn't use Burrow. He could have gotten away with some of that. The drop's finally cleaned up. 4th base now coming back up here for Symbol, but it's fully established here for MMA, putting him in a commanding position in this particular game. Symbol has managed to build a lot more units, but as you adequately pointed out and accurately pointed out, the economy of MMA is in a great spot.
Yeah, and this is why, at the start of the game, I said Zerg plays just go for 3 base all-ins here, because it's so difficult to have a 4th and keep that 4th alive, and MMA is just, once again, controlling. He's actually getting a high-sec auto-tracking for the Planetary Fortresses here, as well as the Terran building armor, and he's just securing the win here.
Yes, he is, but I've got to say, Symbol does still have a fairly large army. A bad engagement could set MMA back severely. There, unfortunately, aren't borrowed Banelings in the right positions. They're all over the place, but they're just in all the wrong places. This is the problem with using them on a map this large. It's more like a shot in the dark, really. If Symbol gets a good engagement, then fantastic. He's back in it if he can get another expansion behind it. He's now just going to charge down, and he's actually got MMA's army out of position at the moment. Will he be able to close in and actually crush it?
I don't know. MMA can always pick up and leave if it gets messy there. There's no fungal growth whatsoever, and I think that actually may be the option. There is a drop on the natural of Symbol, headed towards the fourth base once again.
He hates that fourth base, doesn't he? There's the nice little pickup here to save a couple of tanks. The drop has now actually moved back to the natural, doing yet more damage, and Symbol can't go up there. He just cannot, and he's shut down nice and easily there by MMA. Symbol still with a large army, but looking for that one perfect engagement that'll turn the game around for him.
Yeah, this is so difficult. Trying to think what Symbol can do here, and I just think he has to just get a really good engagement. He has 6 Infestors about to come out. If they land the perfect fungals, maybe he can beat the army down, but every second that this goes on, MMA has a larger money bank. He's got 2,000, 1,500, and he's about to find another hatchery on the left-hand side here. Lings are not enough to stop this. Are you kidding me?
No!
Hatch.
Absolutely not. Hatchery going down, a couple of bendings coming in just to try and get a connection, but they're easily focused by down. MMA is not asleep, so that doesn't work, I am afraid. And another engagement, which is heavily in favor of MMA. He absolutely slaughters that one, and Symbol's actually just charging in on this. Very surprised, coming around the side here for the flank. Needs to get that crush. This is a bit costly, but I don't think there's enough Marauders to stop this many Ultralisks. More coming in to try and reinforce. Great micromanagement here by MMA, and beats down 2, maybe even 3 Ultras, and the Infestors are nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, Infestors come in at the last minute, and they will help to clean this squad up. Ultralists are chasing, but like we said, the bank of MMA is so big. Even with remaking his army, he's still got the same amount of money in the bank here. It's incredible. And he just keeps on replenishing and replenishing this army.
2 more expansions.
And, yeah, 2 more expansions. Planetary Fortress in the bottom left. And it looks like Symbol is going to try and break down that money line, the supply income. And if he can, then maybe, but still, it's still so hard. MMA is actually going to go and kill that 4th base again with the squad of units which was left alone.
Yep, unfortunately, Ultras can't quite reach the command center, which is problematic to say the least. 4th base must not live. This is like watching Stefano versus Protoss. He won't let you take a 3rd base. MMA refusing to let his opponent take that 4th and actually hold on to it. And with 3-3, that hatchery ain't going to live for that much longer. Transfuse does not keep it alive, unfortunately, and Symbol in a horrible spot at the moment. Nice fungal, so he's not getting out of there alive, and he is able to crush that army, but once again, MMA can replenish this.
Yeah, and MMA has the expansion in the bottom left, which Symbol didn't check out. He saw one command center at the 7 o'clock position and was like, oh, that's okay, that he's not mining from there. Maybe I'm still in this game, but no, there's a lot of income. There's a lot of mules down in that bottom left-hand side, unfortunately. And the army, once again, is remade. 3-3 upgrades, tanks. Oh my god, he may be dropping again. He is dropping again relentlessly. 2 medivacs full of units towards the back base of Symbol. And MMA is just ripping his opponent apart with these drops, with these pushes.
That's MMA in a nutshell for you, isn't it? And Symbol is now in a really difficult position. He's just not able to reinforce. He's trying to re-expand, but he keeps getting picked off every time. MMA not able to get in there just yet. Symbol's army's still a little bit scary, but nowhere near as large, and there's even a nuclear missile now available. Although there's no ghost to fire it, so I think MMA is just going to throw it at his opponent and hope that that works.
Well, it might. The way this game is going, it's a very difficult map, man. It's really difficult from the Z perspective here. And MMA taking full advantage of it, playing to the annoyance that is, you know, that 4th base. And he's killed it like 3 times in this game. But still, Symbol remains alive. MMA, though, about to make the march. The march from Red Alert.
Hell March. Hell March is what that is. Hell March 1, 2, 3, and 4 all combined into one glorious cacophony. And Symbol losing drones is certainly not what he can afford to do right now. MMA marching up the center. Symbol's army nowhere to be seen, unfortunately. He does save his 4th base, but there just isn't an army anymore. Symbol has been worn down. Yeah, it's great. Those infestors aren't going to make a difference. The Ultralists aren't going to make a difference. Fungal goes down as best he possibly can, but charges right into an excellent firing line, and there's the GG. And, well, nicely played there by MMA, incredibly well. And, as you said, playing to the strength of the map once again, and Symbol now in a really tough spot. Only 1 game away from would be crushing to lose after getting so far. And he's had to fight harder than anyone else because he had to go through the qualifiers to get here.
Yeah, and if it was like a drawn-up series now, you could almost write that map off, like we did with Nesty on Terminus. You can say, oh, whatever, that map's too, you know, it's way too favored for the other race, you know. But when it's like this, when there's only one map remaining, you have to get the win. And you can't write maps off anymore. You can maybe at the start of a series, but not anymore here. And that is a big, big win for MMA. And there's so many maps left remaining for MMA to play on. The next map is going to be Metropolis, a better map for Symbol, but he doesn't need to win this one. He needs to win more than just this one.
Yeah, it's a slow-paced map, and it's showed through and through there. We shall see. I have noticed one thing, is that Symbol, in that one game they did win, it was just straight up. He gets the straight up win here. The problem is that MMA now has 2 games in hand. He could cheese both of these games and then still play straight up the final game.
Yeah, so easy to do. I mean, he could easily just proxy barracks and be like, all right, whatever, see if it works or not. And if it does, woohoo, I'm rich. If not, then, well, all right, let's go to another game with a 3-1 lead. You just have so much room for error. And that's such... being one map away, of course it's going to be kind of difficult for MMA to be like, oh god, if I just hold it together, then I can win here. That still plays an important factor here, but at the same time, MMA's like, this is easy mode, and just like has a little dance in his booth. There's 2 ways to look at it, and well, there's only one way to look at it if you're Symbol. You need to win these games in a row.
And the question is, how do you do it? Probably not by cheesing MMA, but the risk is that MMA tries to cheese you, goes all in because he can afford it. That's the psychology of the best of 7. Well, let's see. What has Symbol got in mind for Metropolis?
We'll have to find out.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is TSL Symbol in the blue trunks playing Zerg to the east of the Metropolis versus his opponent in a bloody close position, honestly. It is Slayers MMA in the red trunks playing Terran to the south.
Yeah, this is going to be a nightmare if this game gets to the later stages. Just imagine the amount of drops that can come from the main base and where all the infrastructure of the Zerg player is going to be. The spawning pool, the infestation pit, anything key structures are going to be there. So that's, of course, the later stages of this. But more importantly, though, that this is going to enable Symbol in the early stages to get pretty good scanning information. He can check the double gases in an opponent's main really easy from here. Can just hang out by the widescreen TV there, watch some TV, check the gases, and that's a pretty good position to be in if I was an Overlord.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Unfortunately, you are exposed to Apple Macintosh advertising, which can be, over the long term, detrimental to your mental health.
That's true.
Now, the question is, what does Symbol do here? And does MMA just go for any kind of cheese? We don't know just yet. So it looks like he's going to try and wall off, which is going to be super not so effective once this Overlord actually gets there, if he's trying to hide anything. That's going to be a nightmare, because the Overlord's got so many escape paths. Look at this delicious void. It takes up more than a screen. It's crazy. He's got all sorts of escape paths. He can go in whenever he likes.
Indeed he can, and it looks like we're going to have a drone scout cross map. This is basically to scout 2 locations at once, to try and get in there, of course, to see what your opponent's doing. And he will get in there. And we are going to have a gasless style from MMA. Just going to go 1 barracks command center here. And we'll have to see what he's going to do after that, whether he takes double gas, whether he takes, you know, the regular Cloak Banshee build, because on this map, that could actually work really, really well here if he was to go, all right, well, let's go Cloak Banshee, let's grab an early third base and just play it more defensively from there on out. And on a map like this, if you imagine from the natural of Symbol, he's going to have a hard time to actually defend against a Cloak Banshee that's picking at his third base, because the distance is so far away.
Very true indeed. Spawning pool now on the way for Symbol, following up that hatchery there. This wonderful scouting Overlord going to find something. Anyway, the gas hasn't been taken yet for MMA, so looking for the gases expand, and there it is, going down right there. MMA going to just play straight up, or of course go for that echo cheese, as we like to call it, which is not an environmentally friendly cheese. It is the economic cheese, the idea of just getting down that hidden command center. Really, really urges you to give yourself that nice edge, and Symbol certainly wasn't able to compete with that. Symbol playing straight up for the mode as well.
I think Symbol may stay gasless for quite a while here, considering the point I made about the third base being so far away. He's either got 2 options, I feel. I don't think he can go in between. It's either going to be straight tech up to speed, layer, muleless play, or that he goes 4 queens and gets that creep spread sick early, and then is enabling himself to defend that third base, to take the third base more importantly, and kind of keep MMA away from doing any form of, you know, Banshee to prevent that third base from being taken.
certainly a possibility without question. Both of these guys economically focused one way or the other at the moment. Double Queens coming out for Symbol, and now complete, and still no gas. Nice slow start to this game. Bit more of an aggressive map, especially considering the positions, but not quite as crazy as we saw on Calm Before the Storm, where precisely nothing happened for the first 10 minutes.
2 gases have been taken by Symbol, but he did manage to squeeze out 4 queens, so his creep spread will be good nonetheless. I want to see what he's going to do with the gas, though. Of course, he'll want to get speed pretty fast, and he'll probably just save the gas for Revolution Chambers, to be honest. I don't think he's going to rush up to lair, considering that he's investing in these 4 queens and the creep spread. Because if you rush to lair, you don't really need creep spread, so it's going to make a lot of sense, I feel. MMA, though, is gone for Reactor Hellions. I'm interested to see if he'll still go Cloak Banshees from this, or whether he'll just stay very normal. And we actually have an SCV and 4 Marines making their way across just in case there was a 3rd base gone down.
And there isn't, which puts MMA in a great position, because he's adding one of his own here. It's like, hey, why not? Just get it rolling. No sign of aggression yet from my opponent's Symbol, and speed only just starts at the 6-minute mark due to that gasless build. Doesn't mean that the economy of Symbol's in a great state, but he's playing catch-up to a 3rd command center.
Roach Warren has gone down incredibly early. I don't think it's for defensive purposes, though. I think he's going to go Roachling all in here. I mean, with double gas, he can afford it. I said that he could use a double gas for double Revolution Chambers, but that's because Symbol's been playing so straight up. He hasn't really done anything aggressive like he did against MKP. And 3 Overlords in production, 4 Overlords. I'm getting nerd chills. Actually, all down my spine because he's going for it here. Whether it'll work or not, I don't know, but one thing is for certain, if it doesn't work, MMA is going to be the champion.
Without question. Well, MMA is not prepared for anything of this ilk just yet. He is now adding a tech lab onto the barracks. He is going double upgrades right there, but he doesn't have stim and he doesn't have combat shield. Not prepared with bunkers either. Baneling's being added in. Roach Baneling, certainly all in. He's cut drones. He's not building any more at this stage, saving up lava. 8 roaches, another overlord being added on, needs to keep pumping those. Yeah, this is looking interesting to say the least. Will MMA scan? Doesn't seem like he's going to do so just yet. He does have control of the Selnaga Tower up to the top, and indeed the one of the bombs, so he's going to see this coming, but will I give him the warning? Lots of lings in production. Can Symbol smash his way through his opponent? MMA's actually adding a lot of barracks down here. Even getting into the main is going to be difficult.
And with 2 roaches already being revealed there by the Selnaga Tower, he immediately throws down 2 bunkers. He knows what's up. He knows that there's not 2 roaches going to come off creep. Are you crazy? No. And now the rush is coming. Will MMA be able to hold up? Will he be able to get something down here? He did switch up all his production, so he has so small an army supply. 16 versus 40. Will these double bunkers be enough?
Well, they're going to have to be. It's not like he's got anything else, unfortunately. Whoa! I bring a fruit basket. And Symbol preparing for the strike, which may or may not it could knock MMA out again. If MMA holds this, he's in a brilliant position considering that 3rd command center. And here it goes. Let's see how well he can actually hold it. Gonna crash down on this, do as much damage as he can, gets in nice and close. Banelings need to do good damage and connect with the SCVs, and he gets a good detonation on there, right there. And there's nothing to stop this. Symbol's got more than enough to do this.
Yeah, he has, and he's going to force MMA to go back to 1 base here. Great decision, great maneuver here from Symbol, who is not, or has not, given up within this series yet. Roaches and Link streaming forward, and instead of building drones, he actually started to build drones there, but then was like, I can win this, and then started building even more Lings behind this, and more Banelings being morphed. He's going to go for the straight-up kill here, and he looks in great shape to pull this series back.
Yeah, also constructing 10 creep tumors, because you know what? You never want to forget your creep spread in a situation like this. It does actually help, because it lets him reinforce slightly quicker. And here he goes. Gets the detonation on there, and he doesn't even want to waste the Banelings, because he knows he can crash through there with the Roaches alone. Banelings now marching in 2 by 2. Hurrah, hurrah. There is a delicious donation, and MMA's economy gets absolutely smashed. Symbol going to town on the base, and this bunker is the only thing keeping him alive at the moment, and with that Marauder, it very well might be enough. And interestingly enough, Symbol actually decides to drone behind this, knowing he's done so much damage. Why throw it away?
Alright, there's 13 SCVs, this is 39 drones.
47
3
drones.
orbital commands will help replenish the income, but it's 37 supply versus 57. There's no layer yet, it's just been started, but this is absolutely fine for Symbol. He doesn't need to kill his opponent. Yep. He has basically killed his opponent. And all he does now is just go back to the regular pattern. double evolution chamber coming down. He'll research 1-1 as we see now coming up in the production tab, and he will drone towards this third base, and it's about to go crazy. It'll be 70 drones before MMA even gets over 25.
Yeah, and this creep spread is scary. Look at this. It's ridiculous. 12 creep tumors going down at a time, spreading creep incredibly rapidly. By the time he's ready for his next attack, he's going to have creep up to the natural.
Yeah. This is a really, really great winning position for Symbol to be in. As long as he doesn't drop the ball. Of course, he does not want to skip on bailing speed. That's something which could cost him the game.
God.
Yeah, that really could cost him the game. Starport will come down shortly for MMA and try to get some medivacs out to try to micro his way to victory here. But to be honest, his opponent's now at 61 drones. He's not even going to drone to the correct amount of 75 drones here. He's actually started link production already, just in case, making sure that he doesn't drop this game. And the two wins that Symbol is basically looking down on are the two most important wins. He picked up a win when he was 2-0 behind, and he's picked up a win from match point from MMA, or about to pick up the win if he doesn't screw this up.
Indeed. Symbol going in once again. He wants to be absolutely sure about what's going on, and he's willing to sacrifice overlords in order to do it. He's got the economic lead to make that happen. This creep spread is quite silly. MMA actually sees it. It's like, seriously? It's that close? Good lord.
Yeah, it's crazy. And now he's at the 75 jaw mark exactly. He has +1 melee attack finish and will research that. There's also going Spire too. Spire is a questionable decision. But still a decision nonetheless. Spire is more of a risk more than anything because he's like, all right, well, you know, he probably is not going to afford turrets. Or, maybe I can
Probably
damage,
not.
but at the same time, Marines are 1-1. They are getting 2-2. And if he spends all his money in gas and Mulus and, you know, has a flimsy engagement and loses everything, then he could actually just lose the game.
That would be pretty terrible, considering Symbol's made some very good decisions here and refused to get impetuous, which is the one thing that lost him that game against Nesty. That should have been a 3-0 sweep for him. It wasn't because he got cocky. Now he's not doing that again, not repeating that same mistake, especially considering he's on match point here.
All right, so here come the Muse production. He's going to absolutely shred through the mineral lines, no doubt. The main and natural will absolutely get destroyed here. But he has to be so careful. He hasn't, or no, he has, sorry. He has got bailing speed down. This kind of safety precaution here. And he doesn't want to invest too much in these Mutas, I don't think, because he hasn't got any upgrades. There's 0-0 versus 2-2 Marina Marauders here. So 13 is a good number. All the rest of his gas should actually be going into Bailings to get ready to deal with the big follow-up push which will eventually happen here. And especially with 2-2 upgrades to continue here. But Mulus are about to spawn, and they are on hot pursuit to the mini base of MMA.
Yep. It's a wonderful place to be, isn't it? We eventually thought we might see Spire play just because of the positions, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Hot diggity damn freebies right there, and MMA can't afford to lose even a single SCV here, and he's going to lose more than that.
Alright, well, look at that. SCV's getting shredded, MMA falling further behind here. Infestation Pit is the follow-up for the use of gas, and is saving some as well. It's not making any more Mutas, which is the key here.
Yeah,
and then, of course, can save it for Balins, can save it for a Pathogen Glands for Infestors, and he's done the damage. You know, he's killed 50 SCVs in this game. MMA at 44 SCVs, Symbol at 70 is, of course, build extractors. There is a drop at the top left, though, for MMA. 6 Marines, sorry, and 1 Marauder. He's got to be careful, though. Lynx needs to get there quite fast before he loses the hatch.
Did him. He's lost the queen in the process, and this would be unfortunate for Symbol if he ends up getting torn apart by these incredibly irritating drops. This is the time where you might want to use those Mutalisks to your advantage to make that work. Yeah, kind of like that. That works. He's now trying to chase that drop down, and well, MMA's Marines are heading into uncharted territory. I wouldn't want to be there, and funnily enough, he can't kill as many creep tumors. He just can't do it. There are so many. He's not going to be able to force us to recede.
And I know this is nuts. The creep rate
Silly.
is absolutely insane here, but there are the Bailings morph. There's the following crush. MMA can always evacuate and get out though, but he sees the amount of Bailings. He's like,
Oh god.
I don't have tanks.
He doesn't have anything. Nothing to really stop that. It's going to be difficult to defend this, without question. He can evacuate, but can he hold? That's the most important thing. 2-2's about to complete. And when it does, I have a feeling Symbol's going to bring a very unpleasant present to the doors of MMA.
Yeah. This is going to be so crazy. And in goes Symbol. Oh my god. No tanks, no nothing. Bailings go rolling.
Yes, they do. MMA be hating, but is that going to be enough to stop it? I don't think so. He's getting great target fire, and his split's absolutely fantastic, but Symbol can afford this. This is brute force trade. He does not care. Going right for that mineral line. There's a good connection there on MMA, who has unbelievable splitting, but still, he could trade a Baneling for every Marine and still come out ahead.
And the drop at the north was actually pushed away by Milas, who very generously leave two Marauders alone, but do return to kind of tease MMA. But the more important thing is, though, that it's 183 supply versus just 89. 3-3 is on its way, 5 Infestors, Pathogen Glands finished, and the Lings are incredible. There's so many. He's actually got 3 Banelings as a trap there, which he could even bait MMA into, but he doesn't need to. And Symbol, the Spoon Zerg, looks to guarantee this win.
Yep, going for it once again. Marines do some damage here and there, but it's not like he's lacking in Lings, and the Mula's even coming in here to do even more damage. And this is a mess. This is an absolute massacre one way or the other. The surround comes in, and MMA getting annihilated here. Down goes another command center. It's grim. MMA's fighting spirit, however, continues.
Yeah, and he drops the top left once again. 8 Marines will be able to take off his hatches. Absolutely nothing close here, but that is a 5th base, which Symbol really doesn't care that much about. He has 66 more Lings than he has 1,000 in the bank. MMA is going to push out at the same time with the Soul Squad. He knows he just lost 2 command centers. This is it. This is all or nothing push from MMA, and he's like, well, I'm not just going to give up. That's not my style. I'm going to go for it anyway. SUV's coming too, but the simple answer to this is Banelings, which of course are being more.
Indeed. Hey, that's 51 Banelings, Apollo. That's a pile of Banelings. It's a forest of Banelings. It's a lake of Banelings. It's a additional adjective. Oh man. Well, one way or the other, this is gonna hurt. Here it goes. Oh God. GG. And it was. And Symbol right back in it once again.
Annihilation by Symbol that game. Very slow with it. He won the game basically before the 10-minute mark, but was very slow with it. Didn't want to mess around. Didn't want to throw a game away because he's one game away from losing everything. That's it. One game, one mess up. That's it. It's gone. So very slow, very cautious, very patient play, and we will go to another game. And like I said in the cast, actually, the 2 wins that Symbol's now pretty much guaranteed are 2 incredibly important wins. Being 0-2 behind and then putting the stamp in and say, no, it's 2-1. And then being 1 map away from losing everything and then say, no, I'm not just going to die. You know, those are 2 very, very confident wins there. And we'll have to see whether that will continue through for the remaining of the series.
What worries me, man, is if we get Antigua pulled out by MMA. It's like, oh, okay, here's Antigua, enjoy.
There's a lot of good maps. Antigua's left, Terminus is left. There's a lot of good maps that MMA can play on.
That's very true. I'm intrigued to see what his choice is going to be. We'll find out very, very shortly. Looks like the lobby's up, actually, so let's find out. What has he picked? It is Antigua.
It is. Wow. Well, one thing's for sure, Symbol is going to have to be aggressive again. This is very similar to Calm Before the Storm, is you actually have to be aggressive. If you let Terran get to the late game where they take the middle, that's it. You kiss the game goodbye. So we've seen a lot of Zerg players go for 2-2, you know, big pushes through Terran players that try to take a very fast third base and come hammering through the center. Well, we'll have to find out if that's going to happen here or not.
You know what I'd love to see? 12 pull.
Yeah.
I just want to see 12 pull right now. Well, it's Symbol pulled it on MVP, not MVP, MKP on this map, actually. But MMA is not MKP. And that was specifically designed to counter a greedy build. And honestly, I think MMA is just going to play totally standard. We shall see.
And it looks like there's no break, just going straight into the next game here. And for once, I actually wish I had water. I do not have any, so...
Get Trance to bring it to you.
If this game is going to be incredibly long, then I'm going to die. But nevertheless, we're here.
You'll die as you live. You'll die as you live.
Yeah.
Indeed. Casting great StarCraft.
Alright, let's do it. Let's do it.
Hit that button. Whoever it is. There we go. Countdown has now begun. Antigua Shipyard will be the place to be. If Symbol can beat MMA on Antigua, now that will be a sight to see.
Yeah, I definitely want to see how that's going to go down and what the last map would be. But before we even talk about the last map, one person stands in MMA's way. That is Symbol. Let's see how this is going to go down.
Oh yes, here we go. TSL Symbol in the blue trunks, playing Zerg to the west of Antigua Shipyard versus his opponent, Slayers MMA. Currently up 3-2 in a best-of-7 series, still match point for the grand final championship of IronSquid. He is in the red trunks playing Terran to the east.
Like we said, Zerg players do like that aggressive play. Once taken 3 bases, it does become pretty difficult. Because the distance from, MMA's 3rd base towards the 4th base is almost non-existent. It's just lift the command center up and put it down. So, we'll see if Symbol's going to do something crazy this game. He may even do a 2-base all-in, just like we saw.
He might. He very well might. Nothing unusual coming out just yet from either play, needless to say. MMA could be going for the straight-up wall-off there. He can still all in, he can still cheese at this stage, thinking he wants to just catch his opponent out of position. He'll still then have to go to the final map, and MMA might think, oh, well, you know what, I'm totally okay with going under this pressure, whereas Symbol, maybe not.
MMA, because of the last game, is actually going to double racks. The cheese we talked about,
yeah.
The potential where MMA can say, I can cheese and get away with it. Double 11 barracks coming down, a drone scout and overlord scout, which will pass the barracks. The overlord will pass the barracks. I'm going to repeat that again, Total Biscuit. The overlord will pass the barracks. He's going to see this.
Well, he'll certainly see one of them, but then he'll immediately turn and see the second.
The drone is going to see the barracks.
Drone! Where is the drone? There is the drone.
Dream scenario.
Greetings. Greetings. Hi. Well, Symbol knew that this was a possibility, as did we, and, well, he can be as prepared as he can. He's got balls, I'll give him that, man. He goes hatchery. He's like, hey, why not? I'm just going to throw a hatchery down. 2 racks, no problem. I can handle that.
Yeah, and MMA's going to follow through with this. He brings 2 more SCVs to continue with this. And, the SCV doesn't die, but the barracks will continue. Symbol has the spawner pool coming down. He is not going to take gas. He probably will try to get a spine crawler down immediately on that natural, and is already saving lava. He's got the overlord nice and early, and is going to be able to build 6 slings immediately to push this back. And as long as he doesn't mess up here, this should be okay for him to win.
Yes, it will. MMA looks for the scout. Sees the hatchery down first thing. Okay, this is a good scenario to start with. It wasn't pull first. Excellent. Always good. Now, here come the Marines. 2x2. Hurrah, hurrah.
2 more SCVs have been pulled off as well.
Yep. Can Symbol pull off another amazing hold? He has to. He has no choice.
Spine crawler goes down, and he's going to pull the drones to make sure this SCV doesn't build that bunker nice and easily. 10 lings in the making. As long as he doesn't just let a bunker go up, he's going to be absolutely fine.
And he thinks he's not killing the SCV. That's what I really don't like. He's been driven away from that, but he does have quite a few lings. He actually just wants to kill the bunker and force the cancel instead of killing the SCV, knowing that another SCV can just come behind it. This one's a little bit closer. Spinecrawler is on its way up. A little bit of damage being done to its Symbol. Playing very, very cautiously, not losing too much. Lost, I think, let's see, was it 1 drone? Yes, it was. MMA has killed 1. Got 10 more lings on the way up. Spinecrawler now complete, making this very, very difficult for MMA to actually prosecute. Everything coming off the line here for Symbol to make sure this doesn't go up. He's got to stop that bunker. And it's going to be really hard to do it, honestly. I think that bunker's going up at this stage, and there it does. But the Spinecrawler will be able to pick it off.
He's going to go with everything, even the drones now, to get around that bunker, and the Symbol will be able to push this back. He's taking drone losses, though. He has to be careful.
He's pulled a lot of his drones back, so he didn't take too much there, forcing a salvage there. Can he actually kill it before the salvage? Yes, he can. So that's at least a little bit of help there, but 12 drones versus 14 SCVs in the mule now.
This is very, very tense right now. MMA not out of it yet, of course. 19 supply versus 30. Symbol trying to cut the reinforcements off with just 4 lings. Just to be so careful about doing that kind of play. And still, there's no queens, remember. There's only lings here, and only 12 drones versus 15 SUVs. MMA's going to back off, though. And he is actually going to throw down a command center. And I actually think that's the best case scenario for Symbol. Because if MMA continue this pressure, I think he could have picked up the win. He
could have. He's already going to continue just to poke away at it. There's lings coming out there to get picked off. Damage will be done to the hatchery, which could come into play later on. And Symbol could end up in a bad spot. MMA engaging next to the edge, which I really, really like, preventing a good surround, doing as much damage as he possibly can. Very efficient trading here by MMA, nailing down Symbol's army and eliminating the threat of a counterattack here.
5 more drones. Spinecrawler moving too. This is actually a best position for Symbol if he can get queens up. That's the key, is queens.
And he needs them quick. First one has started. His economy is in shambles. His opponent's not great either, but it's a little bit better thanks to Mules and the fact that that CC is now almost complete. Once that becomes an orbital, he can play quite a bit of catch-up right here. MMA, what do you say that MMA did enough damage in that to make it worthwhile?
Yeah, because he's going to have a command center up before queens are up. That's enough damage. Maybe he didn't do enough damage, but maybe Symbol self-inflicted damage because he, cut a lot of corners to get all those lings out to actually push it back. So you can say he did enough damage. But the key thing is here, though, if Symbol knows what's going on, if he smells the follow-up, which is this, a bunch of Marine Marauders, Stim Combat Shield push, if he somehow scouts it with the Overlord, which is in the bottom right, he easily gets speed, he easily gets a Bailey Nest and can ward this off. If he does not see this coming, if he does not have the necessary precautions and the preparation needed for this, then MMA can easily get a win. It's all going to come down to that kind of Overlord, which is making its way towards the back of MMA's base.
Yes, indeed. It could be the chosen one, possibly. As Symbol wishes that that Overlord speed upgrade was in. Nope, I'm afraid not. And we don't even know if it'll come. But whatever the case, MMA looking solid right now. 2 Mules easily making up for that slight deficit in workers. Symbol just trying to rebuild. Bear in mind, he's spent a long time without extra queens, which means a long time without lava inject, so he's nowhere near where he should be at this stage.
Well, that was weird on the natural. I don't know if you saw that or not, but there was 3 additional spines coming, and then because he didn't know if he'd expanded or not, and then he saw the expansion, was like, oh yeah, okay, I don't need it.
I guess.
And third base is going to come down instead here by Symbol, but it's very important that this Overlord goes in there, and he sees his follow-up. If he, like I said, if he doesn't see the follow-up, he could lose the game. But if he does, he can easily throw a Bailey down and easily prepare.
Yeah, he's gone right at it. He knows what's coming, and he's going to find out right about now. Hello. And there's the second barracks there. He has actually turned around, surprisingly. He only saw 1 barracks. Do you really think that's enough info?
Not really, because that easily could have just been the barracks when placed up from the back. But he sees more Marines coming now. So combining both, seeing a Tech Lab researching something and seeing units come from the center of the map, he's actually throwing down more spine crawls, but I wish he would throw down a Bailey Nest. This is very difficult to hold with just Lings alone. It's possible. Oh, he's going in again. Okay, he sees double barracks now, and now he's got the Bailey Nest coming down. So now he's getting the best tools necessary to actually break down what MMA is going to try and do to him. So this is okay. He's got 4 spine crawlers in total. Can easily have, if he starts to spread the creep down to the lower ground, can easily have them on the lower ground in the big dead space there. But he's got 20 Lings coming. He stopped drones at 40. He knows some kind of push is coming.
Yes, he does. Can he hold it? Symbol, the king of holds. We shall see. He might be able to do that. MMA gets a nice little bit of information there. He knows about the third base. He knows now is the time. Get ready to go for it. Looks like he's not even going to wait for infantry army. He might. He may hang around.
Look how many units there are for Symbol out here. He's got a big counterattack going round. There's no supply depot wall-off yet on that natural, and MMA has absolutely no idea about this. Oh my god.
My city, population Symbol. He's going to go for it. Or maybe he isn't. No, he's going to go for it. And there we go, running straight through. And oh, surprise! Turns out this was not a good day to pick out patrol duty, I'm afraid. Because now Symbol is just rolling over his opponent's base, doing as much damage as he possibly can here. Ravaging the mineral line, needs to bring the bunker down without taking too many losses. He's taking quite a lot in the process. Swarming fire coming in here from MMA. And actually, I don't think that did an awful lot at all. It was actually awful.
About 20 Lings on killing a bunker. 1-1's about to finish. Third base is about to get broken down if he's not careful here. Oh,
it might work.
Very tense right now.
That was really bad.
Doesn't decide to go up there though. But the drone count's so low, it's 37, and it's not increasing. He's just continuing to build Ling Baneling here.
Yeah, and the worst thing is as well, he's now up against 1-1. Which is going to be a real problem. He's got no sign of upgrades coming in. Banelings kind of negate that, admittedly, but he's got to get good connections, and MMA splits like a god. So I'm not so sure about this. Symbol now going in for the second attack. MMA's army could get caught out of position at Sandwich right here. And I'm not really sure what that was all about. Loses another couple of Banelings here. This kind of sloppy play here by Symbol. I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it at all, man. MMA gets the focus fire on as well, and efficiently trades with his army here from Symbol. This is not looking good.
This is not looking good too, because it's still units versus units, and there's still 52 SCVs versus 37 drones. So the economy is still heavily favored towards MMA with 1-1 now, 2-2 on the way. This is spiraling out of control here. And unless Symbol does something more than trading units for units, MMA is starting to take this game. He is actually starting to take this game and put it in his favor.
Yeah, if he'd done more damage in that run by, maybe. That's a nice surround there. He catches a lot of units out of position, trades very efficiently, and continues now to push forward, looking for a second surround, which he's gonna get. That was really nice from Symbol. Maybe now is the time when the run by actually works. Please don't kill the bunker. He's gotta go for the bunker. Oh, he's not doing any damage like that at all.
Yeah, that was worth it. This is worth it. Now he's back up to 70 drones. God, golly gosh. As that was definitely worth it now. Killed a lot. The units lost tab shows us the Symbol has now narrowed that gap.
Oh, yeah.
It was very heavily in favor of MMA. Now it's just 300 minerals difference. MMA, though, tech. He has 2-2. He has medivacs. Symbol needs to not let this drop come down. And as easy as that sounds, he cannot let it just land and deploy. If he gets underneath it, that's the best case scenario. But 65 drones now, making 8 more. He does have the layer finally, or does he actually? Wait a minute. No, it's only just working on it. Okay,
yep.
So this is actually really difficult.
Super late.
Super late layer.
No infestors. A serious lack of anything to deal with drops, honestly. And I honestly think Symbol's going to have to hope that MMA decides to play really passive here and not start to drop, because if he does, dealing with that's going to be really hard. And even with a lot of lings. These lings are only going to be 1-0 versus 2-2 Marine Marauder. And here comes the drop coming in. It's going to drop before that. And lings going in, but it's still going to be, once again, a really efficient trade for MMA, who needs that, honestly, now that his opponent does have an economic lead.
Things are getting okay-ish for Symbol. I mean, he's got 70 drones. He's got 73 lings. He has +2 melee coming, so the disadvantage, the timing window's been narrowed down quite a bit. And he's also working on Borrow, so he's going to rely on borrowed Baneless as well. Investors are on the way up too. MMA, though, we talked about this at the stage of the game, is that if MMA gets a late game, he's not going to drop this game. He won't lose versus Symbol late game. So Symbol has to start thinking about, I can't let this guy get a full base and take the center position, even though it's not a gold base anymore. If he controls the Samti, he controls the Zell Noga Tower, which controls drops everywhere. And MMA is actually dropped to the top left here. Lings are there waiting, but these are 2-2 Marines against 0-1 Lings.
Doesn't tend to work out so well in favor of the lings, I'm afraid. And, you know, MMA is playing a little bit too passively here, I feel. And he had an opportunity, which is now being aggressively shut down as Pathogen Glands comes up. Infestation Pit, needless to say, available. Burrow as well. Upgrade starting to catch up for Symbol, but he's still way behind in that regard. Forces a cancel here on this expansion up to the top. He actually has another base, which is nicely tucked away here. MMA hasn't spotted it with his Viking yet.
And you're going to have a drop inside the main. Not going to be able to do anything. There are lings waiting, but +3 attack is on the way. A 4th command center will actually be on the way soon too. Or if MMA is like, alright, well, I guess I'll just go kill this guy then. He could. He actually could. Yep. Right now, there's 21 buildings being morphed, a single infestor being made. That's it. That's the only infestor on the way. Pathogen Glands will finish in the nick of time, but that's a window before the infestor comes out. And it is actually coming out from the 3rd base, which is lucky Symbol.
It is. He might be able to evacuate there once again. We've got no Baneling speed here for Symbol, unfortunately, which is going to cause them all heaps of problems. And really efficient trading here from MMA. The Banelings come out in the fungal growth to follow that one up as well, but MMA just obliterated that army without too much of a problem. And this may be the end of Symbol after all of this. He's certainly going to lose this lair by the looks of it. There's no real comeback from that.
The lair, there's a drop in the main with 8 Marines as well. And MMA, I think, just secured his victory here. Though it's still not over yet. 40 lings are in the making, but MMA is controlling the flow of this game. There are 4 infestors, but the fungal growths missed. They're just getting marauders, and MMA's brunt of his army, the key, is at the back there. He's keeping the back Marines away from the fungal growth.
Yeah, a nice fungal growth just to split that in half. Grabs a medevac as well. Isn't enough to kill it, unfortunately. Might decide just to drop something in there. And there we go. MMA once again getting really, really aggressive. Wants to take out that infestation pit. If he does, then it's going to be an age before infestors come out again. Down it goes. Nice tech snipe there by MMA, pushing in once again. Symbol bleeding hard, trying the best to actually hold on to this. He does have a hidden expansion here, but he's losing so much tech. This is looking grim.
MMA, like a ravaged animal right now, is absolutely destroying this. He's all over the place. He's just feeding on Symbol. Look at this. Spore going to go down, and now even more units coming from the natural, to the natural, should I say. MMA stims in. There's only a certain amount of Fungal Growth available here, and that's the key in defending this. And as long as MMA spreads.
Yeah, that Fungal wasn't good, unfortunately. There's the quick borrow there by Symbol just to try and get those out of the way. He doesn't want to lose it, and once again, here comes the stim. I love the fact that MMA is staggering this attack. Makes the Fungals much, much less effective. The stim comes in for the top. MMA could actually trap these investors. That's exactly what he's doing. The scan goes down, and this may very well be the end. There's the GG, and MMA with an astonishing performance right there. Blasts his opponent clean out of the stratosphere. Nicely done. And that's a 4-2 victory in the IronSquid Grand Finals.
Wow, 4-2. And he is the champion, picks up another win, his second win in 2012 alongside Intel Extreme Masters Kiev. And is there anything else to say aside from congratulations?
Well, he played a damn good game. Symbol did as well, honestly. He got so far, and he's got to be proud with this. He really does. It was such a great play, such a great series. He worked harder than anyone else in this tournament to get where he is right now. But regardless, MMA proves once again his veteran dominance, and my God, does he look happy.
Indeed he does, with the Korean flag there. And, well, they're all Koreans, but one of them was going to carry the flag, and that is MMA. And I'm sure we'll have an interview very shortly with that. He's a so happy individual.
Yeah, he was looking pretty grim earlier, but no, he's pretty happy about that. He had to fight really, really hard to get where he was. Symbol did so well there. MMA did not have easy games this grand final either. MMA's not had easy games at all throughout this entire tournament, but that, ladies and gents, is a win and a half there for the Slayers player, the son of Boxer. An incredible display of Terran versus Zerg mastery.
Who hears me, actually?
Yeah, great display there and a great win. A long 4 months of IronSquid
more volume on my right,
finally to an end now. And MMA is the first IronSquid winner here of Season 1, IronSquid 1, whatever you want to call it. A great win there for MMA, back to the top.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? MMA
right
has always been considered this dominant player. He's had a bit of a rough run lately, as many players are. You know, there is not this spot where a player can just sit and be comfortable. You've always got to work, and down goes the flag. But hey, you know, the choice of the Korean flag was absolutely fantastic, saving a little bit of budget here. Legrand Rex is a very expensive venue.
It is, man, it is.
You only need one.
Oh, this is nuts. I mean, I'm just looking at the crowd, MMA's face. It seems absolutely fantastic. He's actually got some crazy helmet he's about to wear. Oh my God.
Is he seriously going to put that on? That would be kind of terrifying. I wouldn't do that. I don't want to know what's in it. It looks dangerous, and I'm sure it's a health and
probably
safety
just want to mess his hair up.
No, it's perfect. To be fair, his haircut has changed significantly. It used to be kind of baller. Now it's a bit more of a mop, I guess. But then again, I can't talk. My haircut's disgraceful.
Yeah, it's been great casting IronSquid, you know, from the start back in February to now. It's been a long, but it's been awesome. There's been a lot of fantastic games and a truly deserved championship from MMA.
Without question. I don't think anyone's going to doubt that one. He fought hard and he got where he needed to be. Hey, why the hell not? He fought really hard. Got to give it to Symbol. Got to give it to everybody in this tournament. Nobody made it easy. It was a great grand final. Once again, proves that you can have an all-Korean grand final, even with the round of 4, and still have it be absolutely electrifying, dramatic, and very, very skilled.
And a lot of money too. A lot of money that he walks away with, $12,500. And of course, the other side of things that we do have Symbol walk away with $6,000, which is a great achievement for Symbol, though. Great achievement. Let's
put him on the map. The thing is, people know Symbol's name now. They didn't before this tournament, and that's perhaps the biggest deal. He has really put his stamp on the tournament map, and I hope to see him do well in Code A.
Yes, we'll have to follow his progress within Code A. Each one of these guys in Code A, remember, round of 32, starting very shortly. The start of next week, you'll be able to follow everyone's progress.
Yes, indeed, you will. I'd also like to, of course, congratulate Nesty for his absolutely incredible comeback in the bronze match. He played some amazing games, and of course to Alive, who decimated his group, decimated the round of 8, and was only brought to heel by some of the best players in the world.
And, you know, of course, great props to IronSquid for an amazing show. They've put on confetti from the ceiling coming down, and all the finalists on main stage of a great IronSquid, and I'm sure they'll be back to fight in IronSquid number 2.
Certainly hope so. Certainly hope so. I'd like to thank the sponsors for this tournament, Astro Gaming, Twitch.tv, and Asus Republic of Gamers for making this happen. Big thanks, of course, to Pomfetude and their support team for organizing such a magnificent tournament. This is the first big tournament they've ever put on, and it has certainly caused a hell of a lot of great games, a great number of upsets, and some high-class entertainment.
Indeed, and it's been a pleasure casting it. It's been a pleasure casting it, but now it's time to eat and to celebrate the victory of MMA.
It's like a bloody sleep. I've been up since 4 a.m., god damn it, but hey, it was worth every single second of it. So, well done once again to our champion, MMA. Big shout-out, of course, to all the communities that have supported this particular tournament, including, of course, SC Reddit, Team Liquid, Well Played, and all the other forums, as well as all of you guys out there. You have been a fantastic audience. Thank you for sticking around, considering the technical problems. Thanks for bearing with it. It's unfortunate that it ended up the way that it was.
I should introduce myself.
But,
okay.
well, teething problems on first tournaments. It has a tendency to happen, and hopefully IronSquid 2 will be
Introduce
even better.
myself?
And I
Okay,
think
hey.
Rice's
So my name is Minzik, Rice Cole. Some people might know me from, I'm the manager of MC and SK Gaming. And I used to do a translation for MAG and stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
So, first of all, I will go to MMA who won the tournament, and it's of Uncle. Sorry. Okay, I have to change the mic. Okay, cool. Oh, is it both? Okay. Just like for the English team, so I hope it's going to be fine. I'm talking both of them. Okay. Okay. Okay, the first question will go to MMA. First of all, I mean, you had a pretty tough run to get here by winning against Alive, close 3-2, and now winning against Symbol 4-2. How do you feel? That's going to be my first question. 지금 이석이랑 먼저 3대2 힘들게 올라왔는데 지금 결승까지 와서 지금 심볼랑 4대2로 이겼는데 기분 어떤지 그냥 부탁.
한 경기 한 경기 다 어떻게 이겼는지 모를 정도로 좀 박빙이었던 것 같고 좀 마음 졸이면서 경기했는데 이렇게 우승해서 정말 기쁩니다.
Okay. So his answer was like he just played one by one, like every game, step by step, and he wasn't really sure. Like he doesn't even really realize how he won the games. But right now he's just really satisfied and happy about his result. So my next question will be to Symbol. I think, like, first of all, it's really amazing that he came. I mean, that guy came through the qualifier. He came over here through the qualifier and made it to top 4 and made it even to the second place. So my question will be, first of all, like, because actually he saw in the previous interview that he's going to beat MMA. So I will ask him what his opinion is about the game itself. 지금 먼저 여기까지 오는 거 정말 대단하고 결승까지 왔는 거 그 전에 예선 뚫고 여기까지 왔는데 힘들게 와서 좀 먼저 축하하고, 그리고 처음에 아까 지금 인터뷰 할 때 성환이랑 경기할 때 아마 너가 이길 것 같다고 했는데 뭐가 왜 얼마나 힘들었는지, 그냥 무슨 잘못했는지, 그리고 그냥 왜 졌는지 그냥 설명해 줘. So he said he prepared a lot of against Zerg for his matchup against Nesty, so he prepared a lot for that. And against Terrence, he wasn't that well prepared, but it was one of his best matchups. And he just thinks that, like, today just MMA was better prepared and he played just better than him. And he hopes that he can, that he can go back home, train, and if they meet again, he's going to hopefully beat him.
Voilà, Symbol qui s'est essentiellement préparé pour battre Nesty, mais que le Z a s'inspiré que c'était un match qu'il connaissait bien, c'est juste que le mec était meilleur aujourd'hui, et il espère rentrer chez lui, s'inspirer et les défoncer.
So my last question is going to be to Nesty. He's like, I mean, it's like one of his first European tournament, and actually he hoped to win this tournament to show like people that he's back in the game. I will ask how he feels, and yeah. 형 지금 해외대회 유럽은 처음 왔지만 그 전에 해외대회 자주 다녔는데 지금 그전 인터뷰 할 때 해외대회 나오면 꼭 우승하고 싶다고 이번에 자신 있다고 했는데요. 지금 3등밖에 좀 3등 했는데요. 기분 어떤지 그리고 그냥
되게 좋았고 다음에는 더 노력해서 우승하는 모습 보여드리고 싶어요.
Okay, he said first of all he's really thankful for the people who came out here to cheer for him because you guys are amazing. You really did a good job. And I mean, he just made the third place, but he's happy and really proud of the third place. And I think there will come the time where he will do better and win his first foreign tournament. So, okay. The French guy is still talking, so I just want to say bye to the English people who are watching the stream. It was really nice, and thanks.
Et je pense qu'on peut les applaudir bien fort une dernière fois.
Allez. Prenez vos photos. Allez.
Ok.